I'm attorney John Mangan. I've been practicing law specifically in the area of trusts and estates for approximately 15 years now. And in that period, I've been able to be involved with the administration of well over 100 probate administrations. As part of that process, I've had many opportunities to work with a very important step in the probate process, which involves filing an inventory. So if you happen to watch our last video, that was all about marshaling the assets of the estate, which means basically gaining control and possession of those assets. Once that has happened, now we need to think about creating an inventory which must be filed with the probate court. Now, there are some requirements involving this inventories. Number one, the inventory must be filed within 60 days after the personal representative is appointed to his or her position as such here in the state of Florida. Now, if you need more than 60 days, we are able to ask the court for additional time, but that must be requested. It's not automatically granted. So what is an inventory? Well, it's basically a list of all of the assets and their values that are owned by the probate estate as of the date of the decedent's death. So again, two important pieces of information for each asset. Number one, a description of the asset, whether it be real property, personal property, a bank or investment account. And then secondly, for each asset, its value as of date of death. Now, when it comes to value, sometimes that's readily ascertainable. Think about things like bank statements. We can usually go through the statement and determine just from the statement what the value was as of date of death. For other assets like investment accounts, that information may or may not be available on the statement, and that partially depends on where in the statement period the decedent died. If the decedent died in the middle of the statement period, then we very well may need to reach out to the financial institution and ask them for an exact date of death value. Other assets that tend to be unique in nature, things like real property, personal property, may require an actual appraisal. So for real estate, each parcel is going to be unique. We may need to get an appraisal. For, let's say, a work of art or jewelry, things of that nature that are personal property, there's a good chance we may need to get an appraisal done by somebody who's qualified so that we can list an accurate value on our inventory. So after filing the initial inventory with the court, what happens if you later realize that the information that was listed on that inventory was either incomplete or inaccurate? Well, it's not a fatal situation, and we do have a solution, which is we can file an amended inventory with the court at any point subsequent to the filing of the initial inventory. We're basically going to list all of the information from the initial inventory that's accurate, as well as correcting any inaccurate information or newly discovered information if it didn't show up on the initial inventory, and then file that amended one with the court. Now, anytime we file an inventory with the court, whether it be the initial inventory or a later amended inventory, there are some service requirements. In other words, there are some people that we have to serve a copy of the inventory on unless they have waived their right to receive that copy. These people include the surviving spouse, the intestate heirs, if we have a situation where the decedent had no will, and also in a testate situation where the decedent did have a will, any residuary beneficiaries. Now, what's a residuary beneficiary? You're probably asking. Well, in a will, we might have certain provisions that are specific distributions. These would be things like, here's $10,000 to my niece, and here's $20,000 to this particular charity. Once those specific distributions have been made, everything left over in the estate is referred to as the residue, and the beneficiaries of that residue are the residuary beneficiaries. Now, I know that's a lot of information that I just put out there for you. If you have any particular questions in regards to a situation that you're going through, maybe a situation you're going through after the loss of a loved one, please feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help.